Latin America is a continent characterized by its predominantly Catholic culture and by the population's profound and joyful devotion to the Blessed Virgin Mary. While scarred by social difficulties and as most cultures of our time, affected by secularism, the people maintain their Catholic values and their love for the Mother of Christ. In Nicaragua, the Blessed Virgin Mary is venerated under the title of the Immaculate Conception, or as is more commonly known, La Purísima. The devotion is deeply rooted in each Nicaraguan's heart and is celebrated not only throughout the country, but also in the homes of thousands of Nicaraguans living abroad. The celebration of La Purísima is ancient, manifesting itself soon after the arrival of the Spanish in the 16th century. The origin of present-day Nicaragua is ascribed to Granada and León, the first colonial cities founded in 1525.
The celebration of the Virgin Mary in Nicaragua started when an image of the Immaculate Conception appeared at the Franciscan convent in the village of El Viejo. Supposedly, 50 years earlier, a cousin or relative of Santa Teresa of Avila was traveling to Peru, transporting the image. Storms at sea forced him to the port of Realejo, one of the most important ports of the Spanish Empire on the Pacific coast. He tried 3 times to set sail, but each time the bad weather made him turn back. And so he became convinced that it was a sign from God's mother. She wanted to stay there, in that place, in Nicaragua.
The most important trace left from that history is the minor basilica we find in El Viejo, a small town near the Pacific coast where the image of Our Lady under the title of the Immaculate Conception is kept. She was declared the national patron saint of Nicaragua in 2001.
The image we venerate in the present basilica, here in the town of El Viejo, came from Spain in 1562. It has the style of the Seville school and is as beautiful and lovely as Our Lady of La Macarena and Our Lady of El Rocío. Its arrival in these parts was entirely providential because, based on the historical documents available, this image was, in all likelihood, the one that Santa Teresa of Jesus venerated. When the Virgin came here, people fell in love with her beauty, and the natives lovingly started to call her the White Girl.
The devotion spread quickly alongside the work done by Franciscan missionaries who had a special devotion to Mary in the mystery of her Immaculate Conception. The Franciscans also defended the native Indians from the abuses committed by the Spanish governor during those times.
At the beginning of the 17th century, there was a decree by the civil governor of Nicaragua province, which ordered the inhabitants in León to burn large torches at the doors of their houses. There was no explanation. The only logical explanation is that the celebration of La Purísima needed light in the streets of León. Tradition tells us that this devotion started in León, where there was a famous Franciscan convent, and from there spread all over the country. So, we have this information that, at the beginning of the 17th century, this festivity of the Virgin was popular, that it had already spread, and that it needed official authorities to keep order.
The love she gives us is what gives us life, and what makes us come every year to sing to her, to glorify her, to ask her that she brings us peace, that she brings love to all our Nicaraguan brothers and sisters.
My devotion started when I was a child. I took it from my father, my mother, and my grandparents. My entire family is Catholic, and we love Mary a lot, and we love Jesus above all else.
When I was a child, I used to see my grandfather, who would always cry out to the Purísima. And so I started to acquire the tradition. I find all this very moving. We truly love Mary. In her we see our Heavenly Mother, who intercedes for all Nicaraguans.
Devotion to La Purísima can be considered the only national celebration in Nicaragua. No other event, including public holidays, is so universally acknowledged. Notwithstanding uncertainty of some of the historical data, many concur that this tradition coincides with the arrival of the Franciscan missionaries known for their devotion to the Virgin Mary.
In this diocese was born the great celebration called La Gritería, or shouting, the vigil of the Immaculate Conception. It has all the characteristics of the devotion as it is known nowadays throughout Nicaragua. In addition to this, she has her throne in this diocese. This is the national shrine where the image of the patron saint of my country is. That is why the Diocese of León is a genuinely Marian diocese. I can say that from this diocese, the Virgin Mary irradiates and illuminates the entire country. And from this place, she also takes care of all her Nicaraguan children. Not only the ones living here, but also the ones who have formed colonies and groups abroad. Wherever these Nicaraguans are, you can see and hear the traditional shouting from Nicaragua. Who causes so much joy? Mary's conception.
El Viejo is the meeting place for all pilgrims coming from within Nicaragua or from abroad. As everywhere in Nicaragua, a preparatory novena including several masses begins at dawn. Thousands of faithful come to the shrine to visit the image and to join in praying the rosary. One of the most noteworthy and original celebrations is the cleaning of the silverware, which takes place on December 6th.
What is the cleaning of the silverware? As time has gone by, the Virgin has been gathering treasures, gifts of thanksgiving, which speak of the wonders and miracles she has obtained for us by her prayers before God. These gifts, which include chalices, bells, canopy bars, and a great number of chalices used during the liturgy, are put in the hands of the faithful every December the 6th to be cleaned and polished. And so, on December the 8th, all these objects are clean and brilliant in honor of the Blessed Virgin Mary. However, I want to highlight that this activity's meaning is primordially spiritual and of penance, because it implies the inner cleansing of every Catholic in Nicaragua. This is done 2 days before the Immaculate Conception. On the day before, we have the great celebration called La Gritería, which was born in León, Nicaragua. 7 years ago I had cancer. I asked the Virgin to be cured and she granted me the miracle. Now I have lived 7 years. I had been told I would only live 15 days and then I would die, and here I am.
For me, in the first place, she is Jesus' mother, the patron saint of Nicaragua, and all of us love her from the heart. I have a beautiful family, a good husband, and my 2 children are healthy and beautiful. This is the most important thing for me, a home full of love. What else can I ask the Virgin for? When we were very little, my mother transmitted this faith and this devotion to all the family. I am grateful for that, because that is why we are here today. I always come here because I've had this fervor since I first saw it. In my parents, my grandparents, my entire family. The whole country has fervor and great respect for the Virgin Mary.
The liturgical celebrations and ceremonies held in the Diocese of León are the first steps for the celebration at a national level. Blessing water with the crown of the Virgin is another tradition together with the customary songs, prayers, as well as the abundant display of gunpowder. All these elements comprise the characteristics of this unique celebration called La Griteria.
It's a tradition. The Purísima I have at home belonged to my grandmother, who used to celebrate her. Before she died, she gave it to us, and we have celebrated her since then.
Every Nicaraguan Catholic celebrates it with great fervor and great devotion towards our Holy Mother. Although we may only be able to offer candy, we do so with all our love. We grew up making rosaries, making masks and caps, because my mother forced us to make everything, badges, caps, anything we could give to Mary. My daughter, who lives in San Francisco, is praying the novena today because she took the Virgin from here. This is happening everywhere.
They set up altars. They give away candles, toys, and images of Our Lady, songs. They do all of that over there in Miami.
During the night of December 6th, faithful keep a vigil during which they honor the Virgin with different artistic expressions. Nicaragua has a vast collection of traditional songs dedicated to her. The songs, known by all, talk about joy and sadness, love and pain. They talk about worldly concerns and how the Nicaraguan people feel the presence and intervention of Jesus' mother in these events.
Historically speaking, the Griteria is a massive demonstration of all the people in Nicaragua. People prepare altars to the Virgin in every department, in every town. And then they overflow into the streets, especially children, who shout the hymn of La Griteria. Who causes so much joy? And then they answer, Mary's Conception. Afterwards, at home, where they have prepared an altar, they offer candies and different types of presents which are given to everyone who walks in the streets and who is sharing that same happiness, that same joy during the day. All this happens on the 7th in the evening, the day before the universal celebration of the Immaculate Conception.
Preparation for the Marian celebration is an opportunity to offer sacrifices of effort and money. It seems that the entire country joins in. Overcrowded streets, countless pilgrims visiting shrines, families gather and neighbors reach out to one another. The unique celebration of La Griteria starts on December 7th with the preparation of altars in the houses of many faithful.
We've been celebrating and shouting to La Purísima for many years. It's a tradition in our family because we owe her many favors. She has interceded for all of us, for our health, for the stability of our work. We offer our contribution to people in need, to people who come here enthusiastically to shout with faith. People come and sing to God's Mother with great fervor. They ask her, as every one of us does, to intercede before God for all their problems.
First, I am very grateful to God and to the Blessed Virgin for my children. I have first venerated her for 5 years now. She gave me a granddaughter, and since then I celebrate her. We have been preparing throughout the year to offer a toast to the Blessed Virgin, to the Mother of God. I am also very grateful to the Virgin for my health, because I was ill. I had a problem with my pancreas. I almost died, and now she has me here, and I thank her. Who causes so much joy? Mary's Conception. All of us in Nicaragua celebrate, and we are very grateful to the Blessed Virgin Mary. As long as God grants me life, I hope I can celebrate her. In fact, I do not celebrate La Purísima. My mother and my father do. It is a promise my mother made more than 30 years ago, and she has kept it since then. Every year they make many sacrifices to celebrate La Purísima, and they keep the promise they made. All of us help in the arrangements. My mother is the one who buys everything.
This is a tradition every Nicaraguan has here, in Nicaragua. We celebrate it every December the 7th. All of us make an effort to celebrate and shout to her, so that our audience can come here in the evening to shout to our Purísima, and so they spend a happy December the 7th.
I have been celebrating this lady for 30 years. I went to my nephew's piñata party, and he asked if I was going to shout to La Purísima. I answered, no, because I do not have one, and he said, but if you were given one, would you celebrate her? Of course, if I were given one. If not, I wouldn't, because I do not buy Purísima. Look, here you have one, he said. So I took her. We have to do everything for Our Lady, because she is the Queen of Nicaragua.
Miró la alegría y preguntó, ¿quién causó tanta alegría?
Every December 7th, the entire country waits for the moment the Archbishop of Managua announces the beginning of the La Gritería celebration.
Unidos pues a nuestro obispo, damos por inaugurada este gesto, esta gritería en este 2009.
The Nicaraguan people will keep vigil until the morning of December 8th, the universal celebration of the Immaculate Conception.
For every Nicaraguan, the love we feel for our Mother, the Blessed Virgin Mary, is part of our identity. Being Nicaraguan means being Marian. One of the slogans that we have and that we shout during this time is, Mary belongs to Nicaragua and Nicaragua belongs to Mary. I think this slogan means a lot. Once, a foreign priest told me, one of the most beautiful things you can find in Nicaraguan people is that they have Mary etched on their hearts. And I, as a bishop, as a Catholic, have discovered, and am absolutely certain, that there is no place in Nicaragua which does not have an image of the Virgin Mary. I come from a very small town, inhabited by 2,500 people. When I was young, the months of May and December were all about praying to the Blessed Virgin, to gather around our Mother. That love for the Virgin has been growing in me since I was a child. So much so that from the moment I felt the call from our Lord, Mary has had an important role in my life. And I have felt her protection in my family, especially regarding my mother. And when I leave home in the morning, she makes the sign of the cross on me. And one of the prayers she says is, "May the Virgin cover you in her mantle."
Some spend a whole year preparing the celebration, keeping their promises for decades. La Purísima is an event both religious and human, faith in divine intervention and active solidarity. Devotion to the Blessed Virgin Mary is fundamental for the life of the faithful. They consider themselves her children, and in this they find strength and hope to persevere in their daily struggles.
It is said, according to one of the versions, because everything you can find out is through popular oral tradition, that there was a priest in León called Monsignor Gordiano Carranza. People said he used to teach people to shout, "Who causes so much joy?" and answer, "Mary's Conception." As a result, people started to do what we call La Gritería. Making altars for the Virgin is a tradition taken from Franciscan times, but it became more popular with El Grito, that is shouting, "Who causes so much joy? Mary's Conception." This started the year after the National War, which was in 1856. In 1862, the dogma was proclaimed, and it was then that the tradition of El Grito of the Immaculate Conception started. This, in summary, is the history of this very beautiful tradition. But above all, this tradition touches the national identity. Nicaraguans are passionately Marian, and especially they are devout followers of the Immaculate Conception, or of Conchita, as we lovingly call her.
It is a time to celebrate. It is a time to stop, to contemplate the mysterious. It is a time to entrust into the hands of Jesus' mother the needs and hopes. It is also that time in which Nicaraguans show solidarity with those that share this faith.
Time has gone by, and, thanks to God, despite our ups and downs, or other disasters, in no year was the celebration of La Purísima cancelled. Not even during the 80s, when, during the Griteria, Nicaragua had no candies, sweets, or fruit to give away. Those things were no longer available. So people started to give small bags of salt, sugar, or rice, which were things necessary to prepare their meals, things the country needed at that time. These things have been added to the tradition according to the historical situation of the country. I was fortunate enough to walk the streets of Managua and Masaya as a child. My parents lived there when I was a little boy. During the evening of the Griteria, my friends and I used to visit the different altars made to honor the Immaculate Conception, according to the tradition. We sang to the Virgin, and we received sweets and presents as well. It was a tradition. It is a tradition even today, despite the fact that we are going through a hard economic situation. It is a day to share, to give something to those people who share the joy of loving Mary as Jesus Christ taught us.
After León, Granada is Nicaragua's oldest city. It lies on the banks of Lake Nicaragua, which drains into the Pacific Ocean. In colonial times it was of great strategic importance. Today it reflects the beauty of its old buildings and is the seat of another historically relevant image of the Immaculate Conception. Nicaraguans also passionately celebrate these festivities.
Nicaraguan people love the Virgin Mary in many ways and under many titles. However, there is a special title for the Virgin we venerate here in Nicaragua, and it is her purest conception. For us, Nicaraguan people, loving the Virgin fills us with joy because it brings us closer to Christ. During the celebration of La Purísima, we show our solidarity to our neighbors. We pray the novenas together, and on the evening of December the 7th, we express our charity, sharing and giving. I used to see my grandparents, both on my father's and mother's side, during the season of La Purísima. They decorated the altar to the Virgin. They would sing the same songs I am singing today. They sang those songs, and we have sung them as a tradition in Nicaragua for almost 300 years. So, I acquired all this from my family as a child, and now I want to transmit it to my people as a shepherd. As a Nicaraguan, Mary is a fundamental part of my faith, of my beliefs. I feel she has fulfilled my life, and she has always accompanied me. I have felt her presence. Marian devotion has been growing inside me ever since I received it in my family. It helps us so that someday we may be strong in the faith. We are prepared to show all people that the Virgin Mary really is our mother, that she really does intercede for us. That is why every December the 7th and every day we say, "Who causes you so much joy? Mary's conception."
In Granada, the celebration is characterized by processions. On December 8th, the Mass is celebrated and a solemn procession is carried out. The colourful decoration and the detailed rites of the celebration of the Immaculate Conception reveal the depth of their feelings towards Our Lady. This mystery, which has been contemplated by Christian people for centuries, was officially declared as dogma of faith by Pope Pius IX in 1854.
En toda Nicaragua se celebra la Purísima.
Everyone in Nicaragua celebrates La Purísima. There are different ways to celebrate, but the whole country is very Marian. And La Purísima is practically the highest point of the religious year in Nicaragua. When I entered the cathedral today, during the solemn procession, I could see people there. I know some of them, and they belong to different political parties. It was then that I thought about something. I know many families in Nicaragua which are divided because one son is a passionate Sandinista and the other is a strong liberal. They do not talk to each other. But their mother invites them for Christmas, for their mother's birthday, for Mother's Day, and they come. They all come, and they talk to each other.
Los invita, y ahí vienen todos. Vienen todos, se hablan.
And I can see that this happens with Mary, the Virgin, everyone's mother in Nicaragua. She manages to join different ideas. As a good mother, she is able to make her children make peace.
Como una buena madre, logra también de hacer las paces.
Nicaraguans live a remarkable unity with the Virgin Mary. Convinced of the power of her motherly love, she is the first to whom they turn when in need, and their gratitude is unceasing. La Purísima in Nicaragua is more than a tradition. It is essential to every Nicaraguan's worldview. It leads them to celebrate what is sacred, and at the same time helps them strive to be better persons, to recognize that everyone is a brother or sister, protected by a common mother.